You guys, I am so excited to have a special guest on the podcast today. I have Talita in the building. I say in the building, but it's online.
Separate, but
Yeah.
in the building.
I'm so excited to have you on. You are a beautiful friend of mine. You're a plus size model. You are a model for So Extra. And I feel like that's where we really built our connections was modeling for So Extra. And yeah, I love what you do in the world. I love that, you go for your goals and dreams. And you're just incredible. So thank you for coming on.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So please introduce yourself. Introduce yourself to the people.
Yeah, so my name is Talita. I'm Māori Samoan Chinese, so a bit of a fruit bowl. I grew up in New Zealand, originally from New Plymouth, Taranaki. I'm 28, and I like to think of myself as someone who's like multifaceted and talented, however, not an expert in all areas. But I do love to, try things, new experiences, and I'm very passionate about helping people. So, like occupation wise, yes, I am a curve model and content creator, but I also have my degree in psychology and Indigenous studies, as well as qualified in banking and leadership. So a bit of a nerd as well. And that's my other job that I do, which is a team lead in one of the big four financial institutions, which I also love. And then, yeah, outside of that, love traveling, music, art, my friends, family, and I love the city I live in. And yeah, that's like long story short.
Yeah. I love that. I love that so much. Multifaceted. I love that word. I'm going to use that. I'm going to take that.
Take it.
Also, yeah. Also, I said plus size model.
Same
You say
thing. Plus
curve.
size,
Oh,
curve.
I was going to
Honestly,
ask.
same.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Curve model sounds good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I was using
No,
the right
don't
words.
worry. Yeah.
So awesome. I'd love to know now. I say this with every guest. I feel like our childhood really shapes us into who we are today. The way that we were brought up, the way we were raised, the people around us, all those things. So I'd love to know what it was like growing up as young Talita.
You want to go deep or?
Yeah. I'm ready to go as deep as you want to go.
Okay,
I'll meet you
ready to
there.
go. Well, young Talita, she was probably honestly, like in summary, a wild child. But yeah, like I had an actually very complicated upbringing, but it, like you said, it has shaped me into who I am today. So obviously I grew up in a small, beautiful town in Taranaki, which is New Plymouth, back beach, which was amazing living, like our backyard was the beach, which is awesome. But my mum actually had me, she was pregnant 15, had me 16. So I lived with her parents for a while, quite a few years, whilst she finished both high school and university. So I felt like in ways that we actually grew up together.
Mm.
And and I was a wild child in the sense of like, being a 90s baby, you're eating Play-Doh, you're playing on the streets. Like I loved outdoors, absolutely loved it. I was like hanging out with kids in my area on our bikes, falling off trees, playing on trampolines till late. Like I loved that kind of life. Technology was a thing, but not really, like not as prominent as it is today. So there was a really positive side to my childhood, young me, which I absolutely love. And then there was the complex side of it, which had a bit of history around, don't talk about things behind doors. And look, it's gonna go deep, but there were family members who were both sexually and physically abusive. And so with that, it was very complicated to like comprehend as a young child. So I feel like I definitely had amazing things in my childhood, which I do not regret at all. Actually, absolutely thankful for. But then there are other things as well that I don't think I deserved as a kid to go through. But if it helps one person to be brave and share their story, that's what I'm here to encourage. But in that process, I actually feel like I did pretty damn well. Like I channeled a lot of like challenging, circumstances for good. Like I turned an obstacle into an opportunity. without even realizing growing up.
Yes.
So like I became very nurturing, very empathetic. And the way I became empathetic was obviously protecting my mom ways, learning to kind of like deflect other people's adults' behaviors whilst I was a child, learning how to manage adults' emotions whilst I was a child, stuff like that. Really shaped me into who I am today. Not a bad thing though. Like, in long story short, I've done a lot of work to get to where I am today.
Yeah.
But yeah, those things kind of shaped me. Trauma shaped me a bit.
Yeah. It does that, eh?
Yeah, but I also
Changing
have
your
fun. There's like
Yeah.
two things at the same time.
Yes. Yeah, turning that trauma into your triumphs, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And what did you say? Obstacles to opportunity. I love
Yeah.
that as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Also, you have your podcast with your mum. I love it so much. I want you to
Yes.
plug it.
Oh yeah. So it's called Not My Sister with an A instead of an ER at the end.
Nice.
Little bit of a spiel about that. Me, obviously, as I mentioned, like long story short, my mom and I have gone through hell and back because as a kid, there's situations that I have absolutely no control of in terms of what environments I'm put in, everything like that. So we went through a massive healing journey. Honestly, I feel like I only stopped hating her from when I was 23 and I'm 28 now.
Mm,
Lots of therapy, both separately and a little bit, tiny bit together.
mm,
But now we talk about, mother-daughter relationships, curating those like safe spaces. And she's actually estranged
yeah.
from her mum. So
Mm,
such a cool kind of topic to talk about. Sad, but
yeah.
like it's real life, you know what I mean? Some people really do go through that.
Yeah.
So if we can help, one mother-daughter combo or just a daughter or a mother as is, then, good. Yeah. Thank goodness. I'm
Yeah.
glad.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
listening to your podcasts. Yeah, and hearing both you and your mum like work together, like you just sound like best friends. And I'm like, I love that so much.
We've come a long way, I tell you.
Yeah, good on you guys though for doing the work, right?
Yeah, it's a big one. Yeah.
Awesome. So I really wanted to get you on to talk more about, your modeling, and being a plus size curve model in that industry. And there is so many women out there that really struggle with their body image, with being plus size, with not seeing representation
Yeah.
in the world. So I would love to know what was your journey to becoming a model like? And what is it like being a plus size model in that industry?
Oh, so my journey to being a model has been actually really long.
Mm,
Before I even go into it, I just want to say like there was no magical person who approached me in a mall,
mm,
or found me. I was not found.
mm,
I actually sought out a dream that I had. I took ownership of my own career path and I pursued it. Um, some people get, they're lucky girls, how
mm.
the trend at the moment. Some people are genuinely lucky girls and I'm all for it, but some of us need to pursue it, and that's just life. Um, so I got signed last year and that was honestly perfect timing for me. But before I was signed by Every, I I'll go back to like 2012 actually.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was figuring out my creative like talents and whatnot, figuring out, okay, which one do I want to pursue long term? Because us Islanders and like multi people, like we're just multi-talented, okay? We truly
Yes.
are. No one can gaslight
Amen.
us to
Yeah.
thinking differently. Like we
Yes.
genuinely are. And I ran with that. I felt confident to be like, okay, let me just try different ways. So I tried performing arts in terms of like singing. I did that. I tried to pursue that through church actually with my singing. And then there was a few women's conferences whilst I was in that space. And they were like, oh, can we take photos, just for fun for the conference to like promote it. And then I had so much fun doing that. And that kind of like also sparked my curiosity. And then so I was doing that on and off. And then probably around 2016, 2018, I was signed by a talent agency in New Zealand.
Mm.
And that was for like amateur acting and voiceovers. So that's like ad work, you know. Look at the ads and you see people doing like random things about paint, and
Yeah.
there's a couple and a kid and whatever. And so I really wanted to do that. So I tried that. And I only locked in like one billboard that was in Wellington.
Wow.
One billboard in Wellington. And then I had my 1 second, not 15 seconds of fame in New Zealand for an ad for another bank there. And basically I was acting like a doctor, and I was just take off my coat. That was all I was doing. As in like,
Wow.
yeah, I'm a doctor when I'm absolutely not, but you know, it's all part of the advertising. So I did that, and I was like, okay, cool, creative, learning, figuring out my feet within that. And then 2018 to 2019, after I finished my degree, I moved to Spain, and I was trying to figure out, okay, how can I get paid to travel? And then I got a job being an English teacher, and also went into a contact center eventually. But whilst I was doing that, I actually applied for modeling agencies in Europe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I applied for at least 10, I would say.
Yeah.
And 9 ghosted me. They left me on red. Love life. Thank you so much. And then 1 came back declining me. So all of them declined me, basically. But in that process, it was actually genuinely so fun. Like, I was in my little apartment with my friend Lindsay, and she was taking photos of me. We were moving the furniture, trying to do like runway, you know, because I was in Europe. So I was thinking, actually, I should just try and just try it, just see what happens, you know?
Yeah.
And I was in that space in my life where I was like, you know what, I can't wait on things. I can't wait on other people. I'm sick of it. And I've done it, you know, I'm relying on other people. It doesn't work long term, especially for your career. And so I just thought, you know, I'm just going to try it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, that's fine. Find another thing that I want to have fun with. And so, yeah, I did that. Nothing worked, but that was fine. I genuinely still took cool photos. Well, cool in my eyes, photos of myself being a little travel gal and whatnot. And then the end of 2019, moved to Melbourne, and got the job at the bank, which I love. And then I actually had a friend who we both know, Amma,
Yeah.
and with her beauty business and whatnot. And she said, oh, you know, do you want to take photos for my business? And I said, yeah. And then that's when like my flame of like, I'm going to try really hard to do this kind of ignited. And then on top of that, then I met you. And then both the two of you honestly encouraged me, like hyped me up to be like, yeah, I can do this.
Yes.
So that was kind of like the journey. And then when I figured out, okay, cool, I want to take portfolio photos. I did my research. I had a look at the agencies. When you submit, or when you want to submit, they actually give you very obvious things that they're looking for when you submit. It's like 4 photos. Your headshot, full face, side, whatnot. And so I was going to do it through my iPhone, but then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to pay someone professional. And that's when I paid Gracie.
Oh, Gracie. Yeah. Shout out
Yeah.
to Gracie. Fear
Yeah.
out. She's the best.
She's the best. She helped as well.
Yeah.
And so I paid her for, you know, I wanted a professional point of view. She knew what she was doing. Either way, whether I was successful or not in pursuing my modeling, I was going to have cute pictures of myself. So I was like, whatever, it's fine. Like, you know, you got to have that fun mentality around when you're exploring your career or what you want to do. And so I did that, and then I submitted to Every. And I submitted to other people as well, but Every was like my main one that I really wanted because their values sit and align with everything that I feel like in my heart, you know? And so, yeah, and then I got signed by Every, and then the rest was history. But it was a lot of trial and error.
Yes.
But I didn't give up. And honestly, like if I wasn't a model today, I'd still try and take cool photos of myself because it's just fun, you know? And I genuinely love it. And also throughout my years, and my old flatmates will vouch for this, and my friends in New Zealand and some of them in Spain, they will have receipts of this, potentially videos that I did not know about. But I used to YouTube how to pose. I used to YouTube how to pose, and I used to practice. I mean, look at me now, but like
Yeah.
That's what I used to do. And it
Yes.
was just fun for me. Like I didn't feel ashamed about it or embarrassed. I just liked it, you know?
Mm. I love that so much. I love how you opened with like it wasn't what is it? You didn't get picked out like in the mall or like, you know, and you actually like kept going, kept trying. I love that journey because yeah, so many people like, oh, I'm waiting for that lucky moment, you know, but it's like, no, you actually have to work for it, right?
Yeah.
And you go all the way back to 2012.
Yeah, 2012
And then you got signed what year?
last year.
2022. So 10 years.
2022. Yeah.
Nice. See, yeah, I love that so much. I love that. And you know, you say that, you know, me and Amma really had you, you know, rooting for you and stuff, but it was you that actually did the work, like actually went for it. And I remember us having these conversations as well.
Yes.
You're like, I want to be a model, like, and I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
do it, do it, do it. But can I tell you how many people I have these conversations with and they just like don't do anything with it? So
Yes.
the moment where you like you messaged me and you were like, I got signed, and I was like, to who?
Yeah.
You're like, Every, and I was like, are you kidding me? Like Every, because I followed Every as well. And I love
Yeah.
everything they stand for. So
Yes.
that you actually did it. You took action. Like huge props to you. Like that's freaking incredible.
Thank you. Yeah. And so worth it. Like it's so fulfilling. I think too, that's the thing. Like I think that's why it took me like 10 years as well. There's so many layers to it around why it
Mm,
took me long. It probably could take someone faster. And if it does, do it. With being multifaceted and talented, which everyone actually is. But
yeah.
like I said, I'm not an expert in everything. But once I put my mind to it, I can do
Mm,
it. And that's for everyone. I'm not special. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
Like it's just if you want to put your mind to it, you can do it. Makes sense.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you always been like that? Or was it like a process to getting to that point, that self-belief, right?
Oh, absolute process.
Yeah.
Such a process. Yeah. And I think it's around that whole trial and error. So like,
Mm.
let me tell you, okay, I work at the bank. I love my job. I love my boss. Just had to put that in there.
Yeah.
I genuinely do. But like, if you ask my colleagues, I didn't know anything about the job that I started with. I didn't even know
Mm.
what an interest rate was, okay? And I was doing
Mm.
all these interest rates, loans, everything.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything. But again, I knew like, oh, I know how to get along with people. I know how to talk to them. And I also know that I can be open to learning. So being teachable is like such a
Mm.
key characteristic in life. Please obtain it, everyone. Even if you're young and listening, obtain it because it's going to take you so far.
Mm.
But then look at me now, 3 years later, only
Yeah.
3 years in the role, or I've changed roles now, but now I'm leading people to know how to do that job successfully.
Mm.
But it's just because I decided, oh yeah, cool. I know I'm talented and can do some stuff, but when I put my mind to it, then I'll thrive. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I feel like as well there would have to be like a sense of that like being confident in yourself and your capabilities. Do you
Yeah.
feel like you're quite a confident person?
Now, yeah, still growing, but
Right.
absolutely.
How did you get there if you could pinpoint one point?
In terms of like my confidence,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can pinpoint a certain like time. I guess like the penny dropped a lot. I had a lot of like leaders and bosses, and they told me like you have to drive your own career, and actually like no one's going to do what you want for your life for you. And
Mm.
that was a slap in the face. I'm not spoiled, but like mentally I was like, I'm the luckiest girl. Like I can get what I want. I can do best of both worlds, all of that. I was hyping my own self up. But
Mm.
then someone said like, no, you have to do it yourself. Like, and that's where my confidence boosted as much like as I learned about certain things, then I felt more confident to do it. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you. I literally just had goosebumps when you said when you said that fact, like how it came to me was like nobody's gonna save you, nobody's gonna do
Yeah.
this for you. Like are you gonna do it or not? Because nobody's coming to save you, no one's gonna be your saving grace. Like
Oh,
you need to save yourself. Um, I love that so much. You've had so many moments in here where it's like golden nuggets. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to write all these things down.
I've seen in my notes because I was trying to
Yeah.
think as well. Sorry. I promise this is organic, guys.
I think I talked about this a little bit. I've had some women, oh, that's what it was. So I've had a few women reach out to me and be like, talking about body acceptance. And I was like, well, what's holding you back? Like, what's your goal? And one of the girls' goals, shout out to you, beautiful woman, was to become a plus size model, right? And there was a lot of things that were holding her back. I feel like I'm going to send this podcast directly to her, because I would love to know what are some tips that you have for plus size women who want to become a model.
Oh, this is a good one. It's a bit long, I guess, I think.
Yeah.
But I think before getting to be like very specific, again, I'm just so career orientated in general. But first one, you're the only one who can drive your career. No one else is going to do it for you.
Yep.
If they do, lucky you, but don't expect that. You need to drive it yourself, seriously. Because it builds your character on the way. It builds how cool you are on the way. So you may as well try and learn all the cool characters that you've wanted to obtain with your life through trying to challenge yourself to pursue what you want. You know what I mean? Second one, instant gratification. Don't expect that when you're pursuing your career. You know, we're such in a time where we can obtain instant gratification, convenience right at my door, Uber Eats right at my door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But sometimes we have to learn to be patient when we're pursuing what we want. And then the third key one, which is a big one for me, and I think that's honestly why it took me 10 years, and obviously there's lots of layers to it, is figure out where you're going to put your worth, value, and esteem in. I encourage it to honestly be internal and within yourself, and get exclusive and few with who you allow to speak into your life and your career journey. Because to be honest, if you keep letting, for example, mainstream media talk, you need to be like this, Talita, and you need to be like that. This trend's really cool, hop on that. This diet's cool, hop on that. You're not going to like survive, and you're going to go through the waves just like fashion trends. You're going to go in and out, and it's not going to be sustainable for like mainly like your mental health, your actual life outside of, you know, the media and whatnot. So figure out where you're going to put all of that. But then quick tips is, like you mentioned, define your modeling goals. So figure out what you want to pursue in terms of modeling, what your branding is going to be like, who do you want to represent, who do you want to be, and try to figure out your own niche. But also don't be perfect about it. You don't have to figure that out. Just have like, I don't know, one goal, maybe two. Just say, I want to represent my country, or I want to have a different shape represented in terms of my body online. That's it. Just have to be that simple. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Research and educate yourself. So look, Google's for free. I know it sounds really mean, but it's not. It's common sense. Google's for free. There's Chat GPT AI. Don't be scared of it. Use it as a tool. Don't use it to direct your life, please. But use those tools. So I could figure out, okay, cool. TikTok. It actually is very educational.
Yes.
I love TikTok.
Yes,
I
me
will
too.
not say anything less. I absolutely love it. But learn, you know, follow other models. Those day in the life vlogs that people do is so sick. Like, I love it. I wish more models did it, to be honest, because it'd be so cool to see, you know. Also see like the 90% how fun it is and then 10% how like wild it is. But it's good to see, you know.
Yeah.
Third one, develop your personal style and continue a healthy lifestyle, whatever that looks like for you though.
Yes.
Which I'll probably dive into later if you ask me another question about that stuff. But that's another whole kind of area. And then practice posing and runway skills. Don't be afraid to do it. Okay. If your friends be like, oh, look at her, she's doing that again, or him, look what they're doing. Who cares, honestly?
Yeah.
Just do it. It's just like, the thing is as well with modeling is that when you're practicing, it's obviously an obvious thing that people can see. But when you're learning about, for example, finance, you're reading it from a book, you're reading it from listening. So It's a very different caliber. Same with like someone who's doing laboring, like, or construction, sorry. You have to see them actually try. So don't be ashamed, because it's just normal process of learning what you want to do in your career.
Yes.
Other things, build your portfolio. Your social media is your portfolio at the moment.
Yes.
So don't like overthink it, literally, and collaborate. So like, yes, you could find professional people in your area around who's like a photographer or videographer or whatever. Or you can just, if you have friends, like just join and do like a content creating day where you just take lots of cool photos together, you just try new things together, and experiment, and yeah, and then network. Yeah.
Do you have to have like a following to become a model?
No. Look at
Good.
me, I'm not even famous.
So that doesn't mean shit.
It does not mean,
Good.
no, it doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
It actually baffles me, the fact, like, please, if you're thinking about pursuing it, I mean, you could not even have a presence online and you can be a model. If you look back, I'm pretty sure all the other models, the big supermodels, they didn't have social media, they didn't even know how to use it. What about Tyra Banks? What, does she have Instagram before all of us? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna stop overcomplicating it. And I
Yeah.
did that a lot. So that's why I'm speaking on it so passionately, because I'm like, I did that so much. I held back myself for a long time. But if I can help someone just like not hold themselves back,
Yeah.
good. And then find an agency, like do your research with this one. Find an agency that aligns with your values. Don't just pick and choose any. Even though I picked 10, but obviously I'm growing and learning.
Yeah.
But yeah, look at agencies that have representation that you would like to see and that you would like to be a part of. Because again, that's part of your branding. Like, it's part of who you will be. And it's not a private career to pursue. It's a very public one. So you want to just align as much as you can.
Yeah. There's so many business. It's like a business. Like there's so many business factors in there. Like you've got to have your vision, your mission, your branding, your niche, all of those kinds of things. Yeah, it's a business, right?
Business. But you will figure it out along the way. I'm just trying to give specific tips for when you're doing it on the way. So then you come prepared as much as possible, because you learn a lot on the way. Like, even being a model now, I'm learning a lot of like what not to do and what to do. But these are kind of like the foundations. And then I'll just leave it with this one: professionalism and persistency. Always maintain a professional attitude. Be punctual, follow. Yes, like I'm a little bit, I have a little bit of like rebellion in me. So like every time someone tells me to follow instructions, I'm like, but don't do that, right?
You're like, rules are there to be broken.
Yeah. That means it's the wild child. It's a deep issue I'm learning.
Love it. So how has the industry been? Like, is it what you thought it would be? Is it like what we see on TV or social media and stuff like that?
Well, like the modeling, like the industry, I don't know, I love it. I would say 90% of the time it's like super fun. I don't even know. Like, what do you mean in terms of what we see on like TikTok and stuff?
Like you go, so say you get booked a job, you go get your hair and makeup done, and they have like, food laid out for you and drinks and stuff. And then you take a few photos and then you go home and you get paid big bucks.
Oh,
and everyone loves you like you're a freaking superstar.
I would say, like what you said, maybe like 70-80% true. We don't have food most of the time. Well, from what, look, I'm only a year in, so from what my personal experience, I haven't had food most of the time. Like, you go and buy your food at lunch break.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I think it depends. Like, for example, maybe it's a campaign or something, but a lot of the time a lot of the shoots that I've had have been e-com, and it's a full day. So you start maybe like 7, 8, if not 6 sometimes. And if you're traveling like interstate, it's a like 3-4 a.m. wake up just to get
Damn.
on your flight. But that's a first world problem, so I'm not complaining about that.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Not complaining about that. But like sometimes the days are really, really, really long. And sometimes they're really short, but it really depends. And when you take a few photos, it's like you've got to go through a wardrobe rack, like a few racks, depending on the day
Right.
and time. And depending on the brand and whatnot, the heels, if you have to do stuff in heels and you're not used to it, I know I probably should be used to it because I'm a model, but sometimes they have like stilettos are like
Oh my gosh.
massive, and I'm like, oh, I can't even walk.
Yeah.
And you've got to, because it's your job to make it look like these are the easiest heels to walk
Yeah.
on, and these garments are the best things I've ever worn in my life.
Yeah.
But I would say like being plus size model and whatnot, 90% super fun, fulfilling, and then 10% is like sore feet with heels, trying to find parking for castings and reshoot content if required.
Oh, true.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's a thing.
Long days, long hours.
Yeah, long days. Yeah.
Long days. Being in the industry, do you struggle with comparison?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's tough at times, and I honestly can't say that it'll stop. I think it goes in waves. The tendency to compare in general.
Mm.
But I just want to say confidently that what's helped me to reduce comparing myself over the years is that I've practiced so much internal work around where, like I mentioned before, my worth, my value, and esteem sits, whether it's internal or external. That it's not actually often when I compare, it's not actually in a negative way nowadays, because I know where my
Right.
worth and my values is, like it's not grounded in external validation or the perceptions of other people's opinions or mainstream media anymore. It's within me and my own self like talk around who I am. So if anything, when I do compare or when I do look at other women or other people, other models, I see it as like a thing to like for them to inspire me in different ways. If you think about it, we're all unique and everyone has something we could all learn from.
Yeah.
I just something I've been sitting on recently in the last probably like 3 years, plus I've been in the finance industry as well, is that you'll always be a teacher and student in your life. You'll always be both. So if you apply that same mentality when you're learning about how to accept your body, you're learning about the career you want to pursue, you have like it's a really good mentality to have, because of course you're going to teach other people how to do XYZ, but also you're going to learn from other people to do XYZ. But you
Yeah.
just got to be okay with both. And I think, yeah, that's why I feel like safe to admit, like, yeah, I do compare,
Yeah.
but it's not as much of a struggle as it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Have you ever had body image issues?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have. I absolutely have. And I still, honestly, I still do have it.
Yeah.
Do you want to know like my biggest struggle like at the moment being
Yes.
plus size and how I'm trying to overcome it? Because
Yes.
it's current, still happening. I think one thing for me is learning how to take care of my actual body, doing body work to release trauma, and understanding what healthy nutrition is whilst actually being a model. So again, we're gonna go really deep here and like trigger warning and stuff.
Yeah.
But in my childhood, obviously, and throughout pockets of my life, I was sexually abused and physically abused by people. And so actually for me personally, it probably will be different for everyone, but this is my personal experience, being plus size and what I'm like healing through and processing and whatnot, is that I hold and I find being bigger and fat as a safe space for me. So I find food comforting, I find eating soothing. And to be honest, it's a way of self-sabotage, and that's what I'm really reversing at the moment. And so some people might tap out of this when we're talking about this stuff. But it's genuinely for me a deep-rooted issue which is influenced, by my food choices, the way I see myself, and my relationships. So I'm doing a lot of unlearning
Yeah.
um, at the moment, and then relearning. So it's again teacher-student concept. Like I am going through it. But I need to say something as well. Whilst I'm learning and struggling through healing through this process, I don't hate myself.
Mm,
And I'm not a bitch to myself.
mm,
It's not that I make excuses for myself. It's not. Because let me tell you, I'm working with a nutritionist and she's a lot of money, but she's worth it. So you know what I
mm,
mean? But
yeah.
what was I gonna say? But yeah, like it's just you can't punish yourself because you didn't know what you didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing, and that's why I hate like trolls on social media talking about fat people this blah, 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 plus blah,
Mm,
blah, blah. It's like you actually don't know what they're going through, and you don't
yes.
even know that they actually probably could be the healthiest in terms of their body composition. No one talks about genetics as well.
Mm,
Calendar, I'm moldy. I've got big ass genetics, which I'm absolutely proud of. So
yeah.
for you to tell me to do a 1,200 calorie deficit
Yeah. Oh my
and
goodness.
expect me to not go all of a sudden into like insulin resistant and stress, like fight or flight mode with my body, not
Mm,
realistic, you know?
yeah.
Um, so I'm actually going through a really good healing process with my nutritionist around instead of focusing on weight loss and fat loss or whatever, we're learning about body composition and my relationship with food and just learning what healthy nutrition is
Yeah.
rather than dieting and stuff. 'Cause,
Yeah.
oh, I could even go into that topic if you'd like, but I've tried
Yeah.
a lot of different diets. I've tried a lot of different non-surgical but almost surgical things to try and like lose weight.
Yeah.
Um, and the best investment I've taken and done so far is working with a nutritionist because it's teaching me about food and why it impacts my body the way it does when it goes into my mouth and why it's important to do certain things. But
Yeah.
there's no pressure. Do you get what I mean? Like it's my journey to take, and it's a long one, but it's not
Yeah.
like, Talita, you need to do X, Y, Z to become
Yes.
acceptable to mainstream medias. Because it's not media.
Yes.
No.
You've touched on so many things, and I'd love to hear
I
more about
know.
like the diet stuff as well. Firstly, I just want to thank you so much for sharing. You've been very vulnerable. And I want to acknowledge the fact that, all those things that happened to you, like, I'm sorry that happened to you. That shouldn't have happened to you, right?
Mm.
So this is going to help so many women. Yeah. And thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing that. And then also, yeah, talking about that you love yourself while doing this. That I feel like this is my whole message, is that so many women, I think I've looked up, I think it's like 80% of women in Australia hate their bodies. Like they're so dissatisfied with how they look, and they're walking around like freaking negative as fuck, talking shit to themselves. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, you can lose weight, you can work out and do all these things, but do it while loving your body. Like you don't have to hate your body to be like, oh, I need to lose weight or I need to eat right or all this. Like you can love yourself, and the fact that you are doing all these things shows that you do love yourself, right? You wouldn't invest in, nutritionists if you didn't love yourself and learn
Yeah.
all these things. So unlearning, relearning, I love all that stuff that you were talking about.
Yeah, it's a big thing. Like, also, everyone hates so many things in this world. Like, so just, I don't know, you shouldn't do that to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just,
And also the fact that that was another thing I wanted to say, like some people like the way, like to you fat may be ugly, but some people actually like love looking this way. Like I feel
yes.
like I love myself when I've got curves, when I've got, and I find that it's me. It's like a part of me. Like
Yeah.
I am proud to step out like this. Like and there was a moment where I was losing weight and I was losing, my boobs and my butt and my gut and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, fuck, I don't even know how to act anymore. Like, and a
Yeah.
lot of people, some people actually love the way they look. So just fucking
Yes.
like back off, leave them alone. Like as long as they are happy, right? Worry about yourself.
100%. And I think you know, like you brought science into it a little bit with stats and
Yeah.
whatnot. Hello, we have 5, if not more, stages of growing in our bodies. We've got when we become born, so infancy. Then we've got when we become like a toddler, a child, whatever. Then we go into teenagehood. The body changes again. We get puberty. It changes again. Then we go into adolescence. So then we become young adults, and then we go into a further aging process, and we get older and older. As we get older, stats and science, I'm not a nutritionist, but go ask them, go pay and ask them. They will tell you it's harder to lose weight as you get older. So it's like, why do you beat yourself up with something that's going to happen? And I just want to say, I agree with you. Like, I love my body as is right now. It's actually the heaviest I've been. And I'm a model.
Me too. High five, girl. I'm not a model, but like I love myself, right? Like,
yeah, you love yourself.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, like you just can't wait. This is my big thing. Don't wait on your weight. Like, don't wait on your weight to do.
I feel like you've dropped so many one-liners. Can we just have a book of all your one-liners? Like, don't wait on your weight. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a big thing. That has stuck with me for about 7 years now. So when I was traveling, I think my mom was like, she said to me, do you know how to find a job when you come back from 3 months of, I went to Southeast Asia and I just traveled around there for 3 months.
Yeah.
But before I was like contemplating, I was like, oh no, I'm not going to do it. Like, no. She's like, do you know how to get a job? I said, yes. She's like, okay, so if you quit, do you know how to get a job again? I said, yeah. She goes, do you know how to save? And I said, yeah. Duh. She was like, okay, well, why are you waiting?
Yeah.
I was talking about how I wanted to be like a certain size as well. So it was like another layer and a layer. She's like, why? Like, who told you that? And I think mainstream media told me that at the time. It's evolving, it's growing, and I'm really thankful to be a part of it and see it. But yeah, your body's gonna fluctuate on and off throughout the years. Even when us as women, when we have babies, I haven't had a baby yet, but like, duh, our bodies are gonna change. So why be a bitch to ourselves? It doesn't make sense, you know?
And your body does so many freaking amazing things. Like you're you're fucking creating a baby inside of you. Like,
you are creating life in you. Hello.
How could you not love it? Like, fuck. I'd be like, oh my gosh. Like,
I'd be worshiping.
Yeah.
A man can't do that. A man can't do that. But us women can. Just
exactly. Yeah.
Some man's gonna get angry and create some AI when I said that. I'm a trigger and I'm grateful.
What's been your biggest struggle with being plus size, and is it still a struggle or have you overcome it?
Biggest struggle being plus size. It's probably the fluctuating weight. That's what it is. And accepting myself throughout the process. So I don't hate myself, but learning to accept pockets. Also accepting when I've made bad choices in my eating throughout the years.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it sucks. But it's also empowering once I do click, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, the biggest part in terms of like physical appearance with my tummy, my little fupa. But I think honestly, to be honest, TikTok has really helped me be like a little hype man for me in some ways, because the body confidence and the body acceptance that people throw themselves out to do, which I am in total awe and respect for, really has helped people. Like, people don't even know that they've helped me be like, actually, my stomach's great.
Yeah.
Actually, who are you to tell me that I'm not beautiful? Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, so much to unpack, but yeah. My tummy is something I still struggle with, and overcoming that is a lot of self-talk.
Right.
A lot of talking to myself in a kinder manner. Not gaslighting myself into thinking I've like achieved what I want to achieve. Yeah. But saying, yes, this is where you are now. Still love you. Like, why? What's the point in hating you? Yeah. But then it's like, okay, cool. What's one thing I can do 1% better today that's going to contribute to where I want to be if I'm complaining so much about it? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, doing something about it as well.
Yeah. You can just do one thing. I think we're so overwhelmed with what society tells us, the media, that like there's just so many loud, noisy voices. Like I've had to really practice just trying to refine the noise. Okay, what's one thing I can do 1% better that I did yesterday? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. What does body acceptance mean to you?
Oh, this is a big one.
Yeah.
I think body acceptance is rooted in the belief, that our bodies are inherently, valuable. We deserve love and respect. And for me, it's accepting myself as I am today. And like I mentioned, it's not waiting on your weight to do the things that you love. And I think it's honestly an everyday practice, if not every minute sometimes, especially around Shark Weeks. That's what I call my period week.
Yeah.
Especially around that, or even like 2 weeks prior. I don't know about anyone else, but I get like 2 weeks prior symptoms.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, like shit has hit the fan. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Get really dramatic. But then that's when I know, oh, that's like a trigger warning or like a pinpoint where I'm like, okay, cool. I just need to practice every day or every minute now that like I'm okay. I'm safe in this body. I think a lot of the time mainstream media doesn't talk about how we don't feel safe in our body, and I think it contributes to making us feel that way, whereas body acceptance does the opposite. It's like I wouldn't say controversy towards what the media is wanting us to do. But yeah, I think body acceptance is the act of like being non-judgmental, having a non-judgmental attitude towards ourselves, celebrating the diversity of your body, like we just talked about. It's going to grow, it's going to change, and we have to accept that. And like I said, around the career stuff, no one else is going to drive it except for you. No one else is in your body except for you. So go take care of it. Or try. Do your best.
Just do your best.
Just do your best. I'm trying to think as well. I think, how I talk about don't wait on your weight and stuff. That's the big thing for me with body acceptance. I accept my body as is. Okay, cool. I'm not going to wait on my weight. What do I want to do? I want to travel. I'm going to travel. I want to wear the bikini or the lingerie. I'm going to wear it. I want to dress and like style myself in the aesthetic way that I've only seen like standard straight sized people wearing. Like I love the minimalist kind of like old money, new money plain vibes. Like I love it so much. And I'm like, oh, like where can I find these people who are like plus size? I've only found a few, but now I'm thinking about myself, shit, I'm just gonna have to be it for myself. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, if you see something that you want to see, like you have to be it. Bras and things, love bras and things. Love them so much. I have wanted to be on their things for years, on and off. Like I remember going when I was a kid, like looking at bras and things, but it's so cool. Like I could never. I could only fit like bend on, like bend on lingerie. Do you remember that? I could only fit bend on lingerie, and like I could only fit certain brands. And now I see myself on it, literally.
That's
what
so
I mean.
good.
You can't afford to wait on your weight. Right now I have a stress belly. There's different types of belly looks at the moment. And I have a stress belly, but my stress belly is posted online everywhere for everyone to see because I wanted to be that. I'm not going to wait on my weight. And it's not that I'm representing something unhealthy at all. It's not. I'm a nutritionist. I'm working on my body. There's a lot of trauma work. If someone asked me why I'm big, I could explain it. Do you know what I mean? But I don't have to actually justify it for other people. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people talk about, big people, fat people being unhealthy, but one of my things I always say when someone says that to me, I'm like, but how unhealthy is it? How unhealthy is your mental health, is your mind that you're talking shit to yourself every day? So like, that's fucking unhealthy too. Like, what?
I know. Like it's it's really, people are wild.
Yeah.
And I always think about people who are like so mean, and like bully like bigger people, and I'm like, you are literally contributing to actually mental health issues and problems. You're not even a part of the solution, mate. So
Yeah.
congratulations on your not creative comment that you've just
Yeah.
made. But like, come on.
Yeah.
And if people want to complain about, oh, you know, someone's fat, XYZ, okay, well, would you like to educate us and
Yeah.
help us for free? Because we've obviously
Mm.
triggered you and you've made your comments for free. Come on. Give me
Yeah.
all the free resources then to learn how you're so
Yeah.
skinny. Genetics, oh my God, can't do that. Do you have
Yeah.
anything else helpful? Probably not. Shut up. Like,
Yeah. Speaking about fat, I saw something on TikTok and the girl was like, why are you calling yourself? It was a plus size creator calling herself fat. And then someone in the comments was like, you're being so negative towards yourself. And I have a take on it as well. But what's your take on the word fat, on people calling you fat, on you calling yourself fat? Yeah, what's your take?
I don't think it's offensive, to be honest.
Mm.
But for me, it's like, I already know. So, I mean, could you get more creative if you're
Yeah.
gonna be a bitch? Like, you know what I
Like,
mean?
thanks. I look in the mirror every day.
I've
Like,
had this body for 28 years. You think I
thank you,
didn't know?
genius.
Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, you're telling me I'm fat? I didn't know. I'm so sorry. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. Huh?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I was talking to someone and then they were telling me about how like they process hateful comments and stuff. And they're
Mm,
like, actually, like I've like sadly, and I don't know, like I feel like everyone's had hateful comments throughout their lives on and off, but they process like, it's not they disassociate, but if it's not
mm,
creative, they don't even comment. But when it's creative, it's like, oh, 10 points for you for being so creative. And I was like, oh
mm.
my God, I'm going to use that. If anyone comes at me and be like, blah, 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 10 points for being creative.
Yeah.
That was very original of you.
Yeah.
But you can't, I think it's a big thing around, you can't like, oh, what did I say before? Where do you put your worth? Where do you put your value? Where do you put
Yeah.
your esteem? Because if you put it in the hands of people,
Yeah.
they're going to ruin your life. But if you
Mm,
don't, and you put it within who you are, yeah, okay, cool. Realistically, I'm fat. Do I want to change? No. If I don't want to change, cool. That's fine. If I do want to change, that's fine. Either way, like your validation is in who you are. So it's not external. So it's
yeah.
not going to hurt as much. It's also not worth it. I've been doing this thing in my head around what I can and can't afford. So I think we relate it to like money, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't afford this, but I could afford that maybe. I put it in terms of like energy, like my energy and my time. I
Yeah.
think about it too when I think about comments coming through or even thoughts in my head. And I think
Yeah.
about, okay, cool. Um, can I afford to think like that? Probably not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let it go.
Yeah.
Can I afford to think about this? Yes. Is that actually going to add value to my life? Yes, I'll take that. Oh, bye. Thank you. Next for the next thought or comment.
Yes.
Um, and that really helps my actual mental health.
Yeah.
So yeah, we talk about like body and physical appearance, but mental health is key.
Yes.
That's why I talk a lot about where you put your worth and validation and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I feel like it's everything I start everything with, like when I do coaching, when I do mentoring, when I do business mentoring, anything, I'm like, cool, let's start with mindset. Like, where's your mental health at? Like,
Yes.
how is your mind? How is your thoughts? Because yeah, get that right. And then you'll be able to
Yeah.
help yourself, lose the weight or do whatever you want to do or eat healthier or whatever, like, build your business. That was the difference between me being self-employed and not, was my mental
Mm,
health, my
health.
mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so true. And I'll just say this, and this is something I've kept, and I've only known this for a year, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that's through like a lot of therapy and stuff, is the best investment you'll ever make is investing into your mind, your mental health. Because like how you perceive things is exactly how you perceive them. So if you wake up in the
Mm,
morning, you hate your job, is it the job's fault?
yeah.
Contributes, but probably not its entire fault. Do you know what I
Mm,
mean? Like you wake up with that. What if your colleague wakes up and they love the job? Whose
yeah.
fault is it?
Yeah.
You know, it's the mindset.
Yeah.
So you're so right.
Yes. Love that. What's been your hardest lesson in life?
So can I do three?
Yeah, do as many as you want.
I've just got three. I'll keep it short. For those that I was trying to think of, I was like, oh my God, I've got three powerful words. They're the only ones, and they stick with me every day. The first one, hardest lesson is hurt people hurt people.
Mm,
Um, but the positive turnaround with that is that once you realize this and you reflect on even yourself and experiences that you've faced, it will kind of help shape the way that like you respond and you react to life in general. Um, I think it was a horrible lesson for me because I was also hurting people because I
mm,
was hurt from other people. So the abuse, for example, that
mm,
hurt me. So then I went rampage around hurting other people when I was younger.
mm,
Did my work. It's not a good work.
mm,
And that was a big lesson for me because like that's it. That once you realize, then it ends up being a choice, and then you're responsible for it. And then also just seeing people hurt sucks, but yeah, that was one thing.
mm. Yeah.
Um, the second one is you don't actually erase trauma, you just reduce the impact of it.
Mm,
I think honestly, for years, I would say, so I kind of like clicked around all the stuff that had happened to me around 13 years old. And then I felt like really sorry for myself, because obviously things were outside of my control. But then I started, feeling sorry for myself. I blamed myself and I started victimizing. I sat in being a victim for about like 4 years.
mm,
And I realized no one's joining my pity party.
yeah.
And even though I was having a lot of really good support, it was a choice I had to make to practice, like I talk about practicing, um, the things that I learned to reduce the pain that I was feeling from all that trauma.
Mm,
So yeah, because I think I've seen on social media sometimes is that yes, healing's linear, but some people advertise literally that you can get over things like straight away or like it
mm,
it just goes. Sometimes it actually doesn't.
mm,
But like I said to you at the start, you've got to use your obstacles to become opportunities, and that's what I'm really
yeah.
passionate about doing. Um, where I use that as a tool to help me better myself, um, and to also hopefully help other people as well. Because I feel like when you're in a victim mentality, you do actually have every excuse to like fuck your life up, to be honest.
Yeah.
And to an extent, it is valid. But for me, I'm like, why would I want to give that power to that person who hurt me?
Yeah.
Um, and so instead of being like, well, it's over now, it's just slowly reduced, and now I'm going to use it
Yes.
for what I want to do good in my life for, kind of thing.
Mm. And also it depends. So like with my life coach, right? Her program
Mm.
is a 12-month program. I'm going on to like 5 years in it. And everyone's like, why are you doing why are you still there? And I'm like, because I overcome these things, right? I overcome certain things, but something else might trigger it, something else
Yes.
later down the track, like this year I thought I was good in all aspects, and something from when I first ever started triggered something in me, and I was like, holy shit, that's still. So it's just like it gets turned down for a little bit of time, but something else might come back and turn that shit back up. So it's like, yeah, like
Yes.
you said, it doesn't erase, it just reduces, and it might come back and it might go. But that's the importance of having these tools that will help you
Exactly.
to get through this shit, because yeah, it doesn't go.
Exactly. Oh, so good. And then the last one is, and it's a really hard lesson that I learned, is if you have a shit friends, you're gonna have a really shit life.
Yeah.
So pick your friends wisely, please.
Yes.
Um, have friends that absolutely love the shit out of you, that will support you and hype you up at whatever stage you're at in life. And
Mm,
also be okay when your friends go through like quiet seasons where they just need that silence, because that's
yeah.
normal.
Yeah.
And yeah, because I've had too many life lessons where I've had really bad friends and I didn't know it at the time, or I'll just play kind of like oblivious.
Yeah.
And I would just like literally gaslight myself. They wouldn't even have to do much. I would just gaslight myself into think, oh, they're fine. Like this is
Yeah.
it's friendship.
Mm.
No, tearing someone down for like no reason, or
Mhm.
making lame ass jokes that aren't actually that funny about someone or your friend's appearances, they're not cool. Like
Yeah.
better friends, having better friends is like not better, but having great friends is like the best. I think it's
Yeah.
one of the best gifts in life, to be honest. But yeah.
I always think of that Pitbull song, and he says, "Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future."
Yeah,
Show me your
literally.
friends, I'll show you your future.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, literally, right?
Yeah, literally. I love that song. That's exactly what I was trying to be like more creative and elaborative about that, but that's exactly it.
No, yeah,
That is
you
exactly
had
it.
it. Yeah.
Show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
Yeah.
So surrounding yourselves, like, oh, one of my friends talked to me about how like she feeds her delusions. Okay, that sounds really wild, but like if she thinks that she is top tier, she's the best of the best, she doesn't wait on us to hype her up. She hypes
Yeah.
her up herself. Delusion is probably not the right word, so if anyone can like
I
comment and
know, I love that
elaborate
because
it.
I'm the
Yeah,
same. Like I'm like,
please.
I need to be delusional. Like I
Yeah.
need to be, yeah.
Healthy delusional.
Yeah.
Healthy delusional.
Step into that. Be delusional.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks you're fucking incredible, like, and you think
Yeah.
you're like
I'm the main
the best.
character.
Yeah. Yeah, you're the main character, right?
Yeah. And that's the whole thing. That's why you can't shit on yourself when you're, for example, fluctuating in weight. You're
Mm,
growing because your body is going up and down and doing whatever it is because you're growing as a person. Like you can't shit on yourself. So just
yeah.
be delusional and gaslight yourself
Yeah.
to no.
It's a success. No.
Yes, but everyone will catch up. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like everyone will
Yeah.
catch up. Also, it's just you waste your own energy and time. You can't afford it. Like I said, you can't
Yeah.
afford to be mean to yourself. Can't afford to act like people, like hate you when they don't and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like what media says goes. It's not true. It's not
Yeah.
all true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not all true. I think it goes back to like what you make it mean, or you also said like what works for you. Do what works for you.
Yes, you have to. Just because my health journey is very odd and it's, the deep root of a lot of health issues, because not always being fat is a health issue, but my health issues, like I'm insulin resistant and pre-diabetic. And then along with learning about nutrition, I have a lot of trauma to like let go of in my body. So it's a very different journey to like some people who don't resonate around having a lot of trauma that contributes to whatever
Yeah.
health issues or how they perceive themselves in terms of their like body image.
Yeah.
So
I think it's like you've clearly done the work on that as well. And I think some people don't they don't go deep. They don't realize that, oh, this might actually be something like what's the root of what I'm getting. Yeah, what is, let's go deeper. Let's freaking investigate. Like investigate. How did I get here? When was the first moment I felt this way? When was the first moment I ate whatever and made myself feel sick or whatever it is? So it clearly shows that you've done the work, and you're able to share that with us. Thank you so much. We have talked for a very long time and it's been freaking amazing.
wow, an hour.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been such a pleasure to have you on. There's so much goodness in what you shared today and what you're doing in the world and taking action. Like that speaks my language. I love that you take action. So yeah, thank you so much for being on. And where can people find you as well if they want to connect?
I think Instagram is probably the easiest way to connect with me. So it's just Talita Kate is my handle.
Yeah, handle.
Yep.
I'll link it below, and I'll link your podcast as well because I think that'll be very helpful. Yeah, I feel like a lot of women have mummy issues. I have mummy issues.
Absolutely.
Like
Oh
so
my gosh.
I feel like that helps as well. But yeah, thanks so much for having me on. No, thanks so much for coming on
Oh, thanks for
to the
having me.
podcast. Yeah, and for blessing us. Thank you, girl.
You're welcome.